Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the latest edition of our webinar series. Today, the topics that we're going to be going over are campaigning and voting for the next normal. My name is Adam Christensen, and I have been working with Navitor for the past 5 years, and I have been in the print industry for 10 years. I'll be joined today by two of our top print experts, Justin Kaus and Jill Kennedy, who will be sharing the industry experience as well as product and expertise with all of you. First off, we will be putting you on a mute to avoid any background noise, but if you do have any questions, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Have those questions in the chat box function, and we'll answer as many as we can during the webinar, or we'll have a Q&A afterwards. In today's session, we'll be focusing on campaigning and voting aspects in the political world. Candidates are not going to be able to do the normal campaigning with rallies or big events, and polling locations are going to need special requirements so people can vote safely. We have 4 major priorities that we'll be covering today to help with the political customers. Campaigning is one. Fundraising is going to be different for these candidates now, and they're going to have different circumstances that they're going to have to go with. Candidates should provide a wide range of donation options or other non-financial opportunities for voters to support their candidacy. Name recognition, it's going to be challenging for these candidates to be appearing at events, shaking hands, and holding rallies. We'll go through what is the most important things that they need now to be visibly to their constituents. And also we'll be talking about polling safety. When the polls open, social distancing and sanitization requirements will be priorities in November, as in-person voting is likely to stay in. And then also we'll be talking about activating constituents. This might be driven by states or local communities as well as the candidates themselves. Voting in any form will be critical. We'll go through all the options that the communities will need to use come November. Experts say that these local and presidential elections will be high voter turnout, in which digital advertising is being used as a primary use of communication. It's also going to be critical for these candidates to match that with collateral. These need to be a large, and their personal brand needs to be standing out. Regardless of the political affiliation that your local candidates may have, these products and potential programs are going to be a great money maker for you. Navitor is also going to be the perfect supplier for you guys with the experience and the strength in these products and these programs. Now with that, I would like to introduce Justin Kaus, who has 23 years of experience in the print industry, to talk about campaigning.
Thanks, Adam. And let's get into the excitement that is the campaign. So this is a great indication of what we're going to see as we near November. And everybody has mixed feelings when they walk across the banner in the yard, the feather flag in the yard sign. But what we are in a fortunate situation is we look at these as great revenue generating opportunities, and what a value that you can bring to your client, and being able to bring all of these items to the table for them. As you know, we're going to see, as the political landscape is going to be changing, and it is certainly evolving, we're anticipating even more and more of these types of products, not only in yards, but in other places that show all the different candidate options that are going to be in your areas. Before we get into some products, I want to talk a little bit about a case study that I'm personally working on with a distributor. And so how this came about is simply this, is that his client came to him and said, we've got a problem, and maybe it's not necessarily a problem, but we're looking to really streamline the ordering process for our candidates in our districts. And so one of the things that they were looking for, and one of the reasons why they went to this particular distributor, is they realized after working with him for an extended period of time that he was an individual that could bring a lot of different products and services to the table. So he had a great website which showed a variety of products, and so they thought, gosh, maybe if we had something like this that we could send our candidates to, where they could order all of their products. So making sure they're managing their individual brands. Maybe this is something that we could roll out not only to all of our candidates, but really looking at something statewide that we can roll out as an individual program. So the reason why he particularly came to us which it was specifically for our breadth of product, and we're going to see some of those items as we get going. But when we talk about revenue generating opportunities, although this could start super small, looking at $5,000 to $10,000 spend per candidate, depending upon where their budget is, it could grow to even something north of $250,000, depending upon how that rolls out. So really, it's about that consultative support and being able to bring a lot of products to the table to be able to help your clients. So let's talk about the exciting stuff, which is the product. And so we're going to go through a couple different types of products that you're going to see throughout a campaign. And the first one is really messaging on the move. And so as you're looking at cars, you're going to see vehicle magnets, you're going to see bumper stickers, you're going to drive by and you're going to see some A-frame sandwich boards that are going to have different types of signs on either side that are going to be portable. And so when you have pop-up campaigns, for example, you could see some of that. And then not to mention things like door hangers, and you're not going to have the handshaking door-to-door knocking, but you could be dropping off, knocking on a door, ringing a doorbell, sticking a door hanger on with some messaging. And then not to mention t-shirts and polo shirts and certain types of apparel that you're going to be handing out for people to wear around in support of your candidate. Name recognition, once again, looking at the different types of signs. Typically we see the traditional yard sign, right? But looking at different ways to display some of those larger sign items, like a durable banner, like a feather flag, and some of those high traffic areas. I was actually on a walk this morning and noticed an individual had put a sign on their exterior fence facing a very busy road. So you have hundreds of people driving by, hundreds of people walking, running, and biking by. I'm foreseeing or envisioning some sort of larger banner with some sort of candidacy on there moving forward. Fundraising from a distance. This is going to be a big one, I think, depending upon where your states are at. I know we're looking at business as usual, but really, what does business as usual mean? It's going to be different for every single state throughout the country. So looking at different ways to reach out. We know for a fact that we're expecting a higher voter turnout this year than any other year. So what does that mean? An increased amount of donation forms and return envelopes for giving and donating to campaigns. Campaign stickers that simply say, hey, thank you for your support. And you're going to see more and more virtual rallies. And so what does that mean? Massive Zoom meetings, and you're going to show candidates and those campaign chairs that are going to be looking for some type of backdrop or some sort of signage behind them to help showcase and really display the candidacy and the message that they're trying to portray. And last but not least, we're getting into some more unique applications, and this could be something simple as a water bottle. So dropping off a case of water to one of your larger donors, or maybe there's a candidate that's walking around and canvassing neighborhoods that's going to be handing out bottles of water. You're going to see more and more name badges for volunteers that are going to be out and about in the community and wanting everybody to know who they're supporting. And then ultimately floor graphics, whether that's interior or whether that's exterior, something that they're going to be able to lay down, and whether that's something that's going to be permanent for maybe, let's say, a campaign headquarters, or maybe it's something that, once again, getting back to that pop-up campaign location, where maybe it's going to be outside and you're going to want to have wayfinding floor decals for a temporary location on sidewalks. Getting creative with that messaging and the decals and different types of signage, not to mention some label items are going to be critical and something that we can help you put a program around. So with that said, I would like to introduce one of my colleagues, Jill Kennedy, who's going to talk about polling safety.
Thanks, Justin. As he said, my name is Jill Kennedy. I've been with Navitor for about 14 years now, and I work with the sales and marketing teams. And I just want to go over polling safety and what that's going to be looking like in this next normal of ours. Now, for the upcoming election, we're going to be seeing a variety of voting options depending on your states and municipalities. Although many voters will be sending in their absentee ballots, many are going to be choosing to actually vote in person. Now, what is that going to look like, and how are we going to keep people safe during this time? You know, we've seen the lines out the door for many primaries, and for the general election, there will be an even larger turnout. What does this mean? So here's some facts and figures to look at. In the last presidential election, there were 117,000 polling places. That's 117,000 locations of varying sizes and type, all serving huge numbers of people in a single day. The average is about 1,500 voters per location, and that's according to the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. But in fact, 25% of those locations will have over 2,000 people. Those numbers alone are interesting and impressive. And in the last election, there was certainly a need for printed products to help in those efforts. But now take those numbers and layer in the pandemic, where the second surge of positive cases is expected to hit in the weeks leading up to Election Day. And now layer into that the average age of election volunteers, that's 61 or older. They're smack dab in the center of that high-risk age group. So all of these layers come together for a really critical time where the importance of safety and voting simply have to go hand in hand. I know in our area, there's been a call for election judges and volunteers because many of those people that are in that high-risk group are going to be sitting it out this year for their own safety. This is serious stuff, and it makes safety a huge priority. And what we're seeing distributors do now is setting up flexible programs with election boards, and this will include safety measures, safety signage, safety messaging that will be incorporated where it hasn't been before. I'll take you through a few of the products in more detail, but just to give you kind of a rough range of what we're looking at, normal programs, retail programs, starting around $2,000 to $4,000 retail, and larger programs starting at $5,000 to $10,000 or so. It really depends on the size of the polling location, as well as the engagement of the election board and the needs that they're seeing. So let's look at the polling places themselves and talk about what will be needed as we move into this. So as you enter, you're going to need clear directional information, and that's going to be critical to reduce that close contact and encourage social distancing. And then you can use this, you can accomplish this by using banners on the building, A-frame signs on the curbs, directing that flow of traffic, letting people know where entrances are, letting them know they're at their correct polling place, and so on. Floor decals are a great way to direct that traffic flow, and they can keep people moving in one direction through the waiting and through the voting process, the registration, and so on. You can set up that one-way lane, so to speak. They're great. Floor decals are great because they really stay in place. They're durable. They stay in place, but yet they're easily removable, because we know that most of these polling locations and voting places are temporary. So they're using their schools and they're using their churches and libraries and so on. So you really don't want to leave anything that's going to leave a residue behind, or something that's going to be difficult to remove down the road. Another idea might be Post-it notes. So to kind of help reduce that face-to-face interaction, using Post-it notes with instructions on how to register, the information that's needed to register, maybe on how to fill out a ballot. To be using Post-it notes as opposed to that face-to-face conversation is probably a good idea, and that helps reduce that exposure from voters to volunteers and so on. Once you get inside the polling station and you're kind of you've registered, you've picked up your ballot and so on, what's going to be needed in there and to help keep people distanced, to help keep them safe and so on. So having a hand sanitizer station is really important for both the voters and the volunteers. They need to have access to that. Voting can be high touch activity, between holding pens or passing ballots back and forth, or just, passing information back and forth and so on. So having access to that sanitizer will be really vital. So just a little bit about Navitor's sanitizer station. It is made out of a durable foam core, and it's got a moisture resistant face. so that when that sanitizer, just, to help protect against any spilled sanitizer that there may be coming off of people's hands. It does ship flat. It holds 4 1-gallon jugs within the station itself, and it does come with a portion regulation hand pump. As far as traffic control and general instructions and directions, wall decals are a great solution. They can be printed with large, easy to read graphics. You can put them above the actual voting booths. You can let people know where registration is located and so on. So nice, easy to read, clear messaging will be vital. Again, wall decals are similar to the floor decals in that they're easy to remove. They're not going to leave any lasting mark or residue in that temporary location. What we're seeing more and more now, of course, during this next normal, new normal, is the use of acrylic partitions to create that safety barrier between volunteers and voters. That's going to be key, and you'll be able to still view people through these acrylic partitions. They do come with a little slot at the bottom so that you're able to pass information underneath, almost like you think of a movie theater station, or where you put your money through and they give you the ticket back. So similar to that, they'll have that little slot in there, and that will work great for passing ballots, for passing registration information, IDs, anything like that, and yet keeping the voter and the volunteer safe at all times. So you can use those alone, standing alone on tables, or you can also use those with the portable kiosks that we offer. Just let us know if you're interested in learning more about those, and we can certainly get in touch with you after the webinar. So, one of the important things too is activating these constituents, and voting boards and municipalities and so on are going to be doing their best to try to get people to go out and vote, because everybody knows how important it is. So cities who actively promote the date, time, location, and the importance of voting well in advance of the election have a much better voter turnout. And as we get closer, there's going to be an increased need for this type of promotion. So think of the postcards that you need to send out. You could have wrap cards at the post office with information about people's polling places and so on. Don't forget about signage, again, in local municipalities and buildings, between your libraries and your banks and the city, city offices and so on. So having that information always in front of people is going to be vital in helping them understand where they need to be and what time they need to be there. Now, it's good to understand the scope of your client's outreach, when we help you determine those product needs. So how many people do they need to reach out to? What are they looking at? How often are they looking at sending a campaign out, as far as like a postcard campaign or putting door hangers on people's doors in the neighborhood and so on. So kind of having an idea of what their plan is will really help us let you know what type of products you'll need for that, and how often they'll need to replenish, and the quantity that we'll need to print for you. And of course, you can't have an election without the I voted stickers. So I don't know if it even happens unless you actually have a sticker that you proudly wear on your jacket and your shirts as you get out of the polling places. And we know that everybody loves to Instagram and Facebook their photos of their I voted stickers to promote that to others. So that's a gimme. Got to have the I voting sticker. But maybe this year it's a little bit different theme. Maybe it's not just I voted, but maybe I voted safely. Maybe that's the theme that your area wants to go with as well. Maybe you've got a great idea that you'd like to present to your customers and your clients, and a new design, a new idea for putting that forward. But in light of that, the idea of design, I'm going to be turning it back over now to Adam. You can take your designs and go from good to better to best. Adam?
Appreciate the introduction there. Well, reintroduction. I'll be going over some of the resources that Navitor has to offer. And actually on Navitor.com, anything that you'd be able to find online to use at your guys' disposal to either get these products going right away or add some flair to it as like a good, better, best options that we were able to do for you. So starting out with just the good, I mean, we have pre-templated templates with any of the products, over 100 products on Navitor.com. So if it's something where you guys are just looking to order for your customers, get them out the door. It doesn't need to be anything special or personalized or anything like that. We have those built already on Navitor.com. So go there, pick what you want, place the order. And they're very inexpensive, so you guys will be able to place them and have a fast turnaround time, so you can be able to get them within a week or two. This is also the fastest option, and it's obviously there's no need for any designing or anything like that, so it's quick out the door for you guys. The better option is adding a logo or a line that you guys want, or that your customer wants to have on any of these products. The one thing that we do want to stress is brand guidelines. I'm sure your customer has certain brand guidelines that you need to hit for them, or that we need to hit for them as well. So brand guideline is huge here. So placing logo wherever they want and fit, and making sure the color is correct is key. But we do have the certifications and the capabilities in-house to hit that, whether it's full color, PMS, whatever your customer is looking for in decoration. And then the best option for what we are saying is a completely designed product for you, whether that's folders, business cards, floor graphics, anything like that. So if, like we said, those templates are already built online, but you also can grab a bank template on Navitor.com and actually just go from there and design whatever you want that product to look like, or whatever your customer wants that product to look like. Anything from, pocket folders, anything like that, we're able to do for you guys, and the design capabilities are there for you. This one could require a designer. You guys might have one in-house already, or you're a designer yourself, which is awesome. But use Google to your full capability. There are a lot of good helpful tips on Google, that you'll be able to get more information on and actually use when you're designing your customer's product. And then moving forward into actually showing all these products that we have been talking about in our webinar series, and just other options that you're going to be able to move or use for your customer, and to show them where our capabilities are and what you can actually do for them, whether that's any industry that you are working with. We do have comeback solution vertical books on Navitor.com. Anything from, welcome back to the office, opening business, education, fundraising. Any of these booklets are used for you guys at your disposal. We do have Navitor brand ones, but we also have unbranded ones that you guys can put certain text information or even your logo on there. So if you guys go on Navitor.com, get those booklets, depending on the industry, and present these to your customer. It's going to be a great resource for you to grow that print business. We also have weekly emails that we send out. So on Navitor.com, you can sign up for those. If you want to know more about webinars that we're offering, discounts, anything like that, sign up for those weekly emails, and we'll give you a lot of information on how you can help grow your business with your customers. With that, thank you guys for joining today. We do have a few minutes here, so use that chat box, and Stephanie Drago will be monitoring it. So if you guys have any questions, please let us know. We're happy to answer anything for you guys right now. Stephanie, is there anything going on in there?
Nothing yet. No questions. No questions about the webinar. So, and I'm not seeing anybody typing in there right now. So maybe we're good to go, Adam.
All right. Thank you guys again for joining. My contact information is on this slide. So if you have any questions about products or anything like that that we can do for you, we are happy to help. Reach out to me directly. I personally help you out with my experience at Navitor. There's a lot of products that I can help you out with. If not, I can get you to the certain rep that will be able to help you out, no problem. Also a reminder, and I know Stephanie just put this in the chat box, but we do have a survey. So if we want to hear your feedback on this webinar today. So please click on that link, fill out the survey. Any information that we can get from you guys will be very helpful. So with that, thank you again for joining, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.